Well, hi y'all, and welcome back to my channel. So last week on Twitter, one of my friends told me that he had never eaten a cherry pie before. And he lives somewhere where I am unable to recommend the best cherry pie. So I thought I would show you and him how to make the world's easiest cherry pie, which is just vegan without even trying to be. So here we go. The world's easiest vegan cherry pie. You will need 2 tins of cherries, which come destoned conveniently. I know you're thinking you want to use fresh cherries, but if you buy fresh cherries, you're gonna have to destone, i.e. get the pip out of 600 grams of these guys, which is a huge mission. So if I was you, I would keep the fresh cherries, eat them while you're making the pie, and stick to the tinned ones. 3 tablespoons of tapioca starch or cornstarch. You can use either, tapioca makes it more glossy. 1/2 cup to 3/4 of a cup of sugar, 1/4 of a teaspoon of almond extract, a little bit of coconut oil for brushing the pastry. If you would like to brush the pastry with something sweeter than coconut oil, you could use almond milk or any non-dairy milk with a little bit of agave, or I'm going to use maple syrup. And of course the pastry. And since this is the world's easiest cherry pie, we are going to use store-bought pastry, which incidentally is vegan because vegetable shortening is cheaper than butter and these guys like to make a profit. So let's do this pie crust thing. I'm gonna take some flour and I'm gonna cover my non-stick IKEA silicone baking mat with it because I am paranoid about things sticking. And if you don't have one of these, you can just dust your countertop in your kitchen with flour to stop your pastry from sticking. This store-bought short crust pastry comes in pre-bought little squares, but I'm going to make 2 of them become one, like the Spice Girls song, because I want to make my pastry base a little bit bigger than this square. Knead those together. Good arm workout. And now I'm going to roll it into my pie crust. Okay, now that my pastry is big enough to cover the base and the sides of my pie dish, I'm going to just grease the pie dish with a little bit of coconut oil. New jar. Always wash your hands, kids. Right, so you grease your pie dish, especially these little grooves on the side with coconut oil, and then take your pastry and put it over the top. And then you gently just push that into the dish. Voila! So I'm going to put this in the fridge now, and while this is chilling in the fridge, I'm going to work on the filling and I'm going to turn the oven on. If you have a Fahrenheit oven, you want to turn it on to 400 degrees, and if you have a centigrade oven, 200 degrees. So let's go do this. So now that my pie crust is chilling in the fridge, I am going to make the pie filling. Small saucepan, sieve. So I open up my tin of cherries. This is one of the harder parts. And I pour them through a sieve into the saucepan. I'm doing that because I want the juice, but only the juice from 1 can. So the other tin, I'm going to pour over a bowl because cherry juice is useful, and I could use this for a salad dressing or boil it down to make like a reduction to pour over other food. If you are too lazy for that, you're welcome to just toss it. Great, so I'm going to set these cherries aside. Now I'm going to add 1/4 teaspoon of almond extract to the cherry juice, 3 tablespoons of tapioca flour, I'm going to start with 1/2 cup of sugar, because I know it's going to spill over like that. In fact, I'll make it spill, so that's about 3/4 of a cup. And now I'm going to stir that and take that over to the stove. So here I've got my cherry juice, my cornstarch, and my almond extract, and my sugar. And I'm just going to stir this over a low heat until it thickens. Right, so this has now started to thicken. So I'm going to remove it from the heat, and I'm going to stir in my cherries. Okay, I'm going to stir that together. So now while the cherries and the cherry syrup cool, I'm going to roll out the pastry I'm going to use for the top of the pie crust. And now that I've rolled some pastry for the top of my pie, I'm going to put my cherry and cherry juice mixture into the pie dish. So now I'm going to cut my pastry into thin strips to make a lattice top for my pie. If you want, you can just cover the whole thing in pastry, but you want to leave a small hole here and there so that the bubbles and the moisture from inside the pie can steam out and escape. If you don't do that, your pastry is going to come off at the sides and leak, and it'll just be a disaster. So here I've got a glass with a little bit of almond milk. If you want, you can sweeten your milk with agave. And I'm just going to brush my pastry with the milk so it gets a nice brown. Et voila! So remember to bake your pie at 200 degrees Celsius or 400 degrees Fahrenheit for 35 to 40 minutes, or until the pie starts to bubble and the pastry goes golden brown. So there are definite bubbles. I know it's dark in there, but this is the world's smallest oven. It doesn't come with a light. It's a tiny little toaster oven, which just shows you can bake this in anything. There we go. We can see it is bubbling. That turned out beautifully golden brown. You need to leave your pie to cool for a few hours so that the cherry can solidify. If you cut it now, it will just fall apart. So I'm gonna let this cool overnight, and I'm gonna take some pictures for you in the morning. Thank you for watching. This is my vegan cherry pie. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to see more. Bye! I feel like a German housewife. No offense to Germans, I mean that like in the utmost respect. You guys are boss with pastry.